Hey folks, it's Thursday, just before the long weekend, so um, I'm putting this out a little bit early, or getting it done a little bit early. The topic today is, believe it or not, it's a really important topic. I've discussed this before, but it's one of these things that I like to reiterate, and I want to focus on two specific um, purposes of this particular nutrient that's much overlooked. And these are the two biggest ones regarding this group because of what we're dealing with. That nutrient is water. Water is the most important nutrient other than air. Okay, air you can only go a couple of minutes without. Water you can only go a couple of hours. Believe it or not, within 24 to 48 hours, if you have absolutely zero water whatsoever in regards to dry, humid heat, so nothing absorbing subdermally through the skin or transdermally through the skin, you run the risk of your organs shutting down because of the lack of water. The body needs it. We're over 75% water. So that being said, all right, the key that the role that water plays in regards to weight loss. That's what I want to focus on first, because a lot of people, the majority of the people in this group, are dealing with not so much weight loss but fat loss. And the reason why, again, I focus on the fat loss as opposed to the weight loss is they're two different mechanisms. Weight loss is bone density, muscle mass, it's everything all involved. Whereas fat loss is we're focusing on the useless material, okay? We're oxidizing the stored lipids that the body does not need. All right, so that subdermal fat, the stuff that sticks between the muscle and the skin, and the visceral fat, the stuff that gets trapped around the organs and just clutters everything up. So what water does is it increases your metabolism. So every liter you drink increases your metabolism every day. So if you drink, say, 2 liters of water a day, you're looking at approximately 100 to maybe even close to 150 calories a day that you're burning extra because of the efficiency, right? You need that water to transfer all those nutrients. So it does make your food more efficient. So you're increasing the value or the bioavailability of the food that you're consuming, which is massive, right? Because we all have issues with the food degradation. We're not getting the same quality of food, but we can improve the quality of the introduction of the food, both with timing and with the amount of water that we're drinking and staying properly hydrated, all right, and how the body digests it. So that's a topic for another day. But what I want to focus on, the reason why it ties it all together, is when we oxidize body fat, all right? Body fat is the back storage garage, all right? Body fat, the stuff that we're looking to get rid of, not the stuff that's containing a boatload of vitamin D and all of these good nutrients, but the real yucky stuff, the stuff that we don't like, the stuff that sits around our midriff, collects around our carotid arteries or brachial arteries or femoral arteries for women, the weight that appears in the lower section, the thighs. That's all useless fat. And fat acts as a storage unit for all of these chemicals and materials and even hormones that are devastating the body, because the body needs to get it out of its active tissue. And if you're dehydrated, what happens is the body's only other recourse is to put it in body fat. Right? It's his only, you can't get rid of it, especially a lot of these heavy metals like mercury, formaldehyde, aluminum, those types of things. So as we're getting all of this in our sweeteners and processed foods and in the environment, the body's struggling getting rid of it. So it puts it away in the fat cells in an effort to try and protect its organ tissue, your heart, your kidney, your lungs, and prevent abnormal cell growth. So if we're not properly hydrated, this stuff sits inside us and it festers. And a lot of the other toxins that do connect to the live, active, living tissue, it sits there as well. So that's getting into the health aspect of it. So we'll transition to that shortly. Right now, it's all about the weight loss or fat loss. So this material, this cell that we're trying to get rid of, but we don't actually get rid of it. What we do is we shrink it. We shrink the fat cells. And when we shrink the fat cells, we're squeezing all the contents out back into the body, into the bloodstream to be metabolized. Now, if you're not properly hydrated, what happens is as these fat cells, say the first 10 pounds, your body becomes toxic. You're emptying all the contents of these containers back into the body, but you're not getting the removal team to come and take it away. So now all of a sudden, the body's like, we're toxic. This is more dangerous than being overweight. So we need to shut down our metabolism now and put this toxicity, these toxins back into the fat cell. So that's why so many of us plateau. That's why so many of us, once we get through the first month or so and the body is becoming toxic, it starts to crave more foods, binging. or the appetite suppresses because it's trying to prevent the metabolism from oxidizing or breaking down more fat. So it's a crash on every scenario. Now, you crave carbohydrates and junk food because the body, A, wants to store more body fat, and B, carbohydrates can elicit more water usage, right? Because the carbohydrate comes in, makes you thirsty, you drink it. But the trick is a carbohydrate, the water enters the cell. Okay, for every one molecule of carbohydrate, there's 3 molecules of water that enter the cell. So by you eating a bunch of carbohydrates in an effort to try and put that weight back on, fill that fat cell and get that toxin back into the fat cell, it has to go through your healthy cells again because the water's dragging it there because of the sugars and stuff you're using to put it back in the fat cell. So you're causing damage, more damage, which makes the body more apprehensive the next time you want to try and lose weight because it's getting hurt. So that's why when you drop the weight and then you gain it back, which 97.3% of all people do, it's so much harder to lose it next time because your body learns from its mistakes. And that was a mistake. The body was toxic. The cells took it kicking because all the toxins that you had to put back in the fat cell had to go through the healthy cells in order to get back to the back garage. Because just imagine your front lawn. So you're taking things out of the back garage, you're putting it on the front lawn, and there's no garbage truck coming, or there isn't a garbage truck coming frequently enough. And your front lawn is looking horrible. So all the neighbors are complaining and they want to kick you out of the neighborhood. So you start dragging that stuff back into the garage again, but you have to go through your yard in order to put it back in the back garage again, right? This is what's happening. That's how important water is, especially during fat loss, because your body becomes incredibly toxic, and these toxins can have multiple different effects, both physically, neurologically, and even psychologically regarding your hormones and things of that nature. All right, these formaldehydes and things that we get from all the aspartame and crash dieting and fat-free foods and things that we used to consume and sugar-free foods. This stuff is formaldehyde, and formaldehyde is very toxic to your brain, and it gets into your fat cells, your fat cells, your useless fat cells, because your brain is essentially fat and water. And when these chemicals are released again in surplus into your bloodstream, then the potential of them getting into the fat cells in your brain and causing neurological damage is very likely. So your body knows all this. So that's why it can be so arduous sometimes to drop weight, because you're dehydrated. You're cutting your metabolism, like 2 liters a day equates to approximately 100 extra calories a day. And you're cutting back the nutrient bioavailability of your food. The food's not getting there to your cells efficiently. So again, malnutrition is a sign, or obesity is a sign of malnutrition. So it just means that you're not getting adequate nutrients because you're only getting a small percentage of what you're consuming. And the calorie deficit is causing you to dip into your stored energy, but that stored energy comes from a very dirty place, very toxic place, right? With hormones and chemicals and all this stuff. And that's being released into the system. So you can understand why your body would think that this isn't good for me, and I would rather be 35, 40, 50, 60, even 100 pounds heavier and take my chances being obese than having this chemical nightmare inside of me and certainly something happening, right? So don't put your body between that rock and the hard place, right? Drink your water, make it a habit of it. And everybody's different, but it's like eating, how I promote grazing, right? It's not about drinking all of your water all at once. It's about grazing throughout the day, having access to water, right? Get a 1 liter bottle, not a bunch of tiny little bottles and you're chasing them and you're leaving them everywhere. Get a 1 liter bottle. Get up in the morning, fill it. Have it gone by mid-afternoon. Fill it again. Have it gone by supper time. Done. That way you're not peeing all night, right? If you're getting home at the end of the day and you're like, oh, I haven't drank my water, and you down all this water, then you're going to be sleep deprived and you're not going to drink much water because it's not going to be a very comfortable experience. And then all of a sudden your body starts flushing through. Things are moving. Your appetite's good. Your body fat's down. Your water retention is down, especially women going through that time of the month, or those of you that I've asked to introduce more sodium, more salt, sea salt, the Himalayan salt. You may notice some water retention. Those of you that are exercising and their muscles are engorged with blood and you're using more blood volume, you're going to need more water because you're breathing out, you're respiring more water, more moisture, right? You're perspiring more. So you're losing more water. That's why I say for every hour of activity, physical exertion, 1 liter of water to replace the water that you've lost. And just water. All right, you can add little things to it to flavor it and add some nutrient content. Nothing packaged. Add lemon, lime, berries, oranges, all these things that you can infuse and just drink the water. Give it some flavor. Carbonated water is fine as well. I like carbonated water sometimes in the evening with my supper because it just tastes different. Right, I'll get my 3 liters of water a day when I'm exercising, and then I'll sit at the table with the kids and have a Perrier or something to that effect, but not flavored. I always add my own flavoring. Okay, and so that kind of ties nicely into the whole health aspect of it. Right, improving the quality of the conversation improves the argument. Not getting louder, eating more food is not the approach that we need to take. All right, we need to make the food that we have available better for us to take in, easier for us to take in. Right, we don't need to go and spend a boatload of money that we don't have on groceries that we can't sustain. Go to the regular grocery stores, buy the regular groceries, and improve the way that you introduce those groceries into your body, and you're going to be okay. All right, don't fall victim to this whole movement of organic, okay? Because organic does not mean local, and even organic doesn't necessarily mean organic, all right? Local food is always going to be the less expensive because of the transportation costs, and the farmers want to sell the stuff, right? So in season, we'll get local. But right now, go to the grocery store, go to Walmart, go to Costco, get your fruits and vegetables and stuff there, and improve the way that you deliver them to the body. And you're going to improve the quality of those things much more even than organic. Organic might have more going in, but if everybody's eating the organic wrong, they don't understand the food, then the organic doesn't mean anything other than a more expensive grocery order, maybe something that can't be sustained, and then a sour taste in your mouth, and then all of a sudden you're back to old behaviors because you didn't learn anything. You just followed trends. All right? Water is massive. It is the key here. For you to be healthier, you need to be better hydrated. 2 liters of water, as long as it's wet. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Reverse osmosis and, alkalized, alkaline, whatever, right? Wet. As long as it's wet, you can take it right from the tap and drink it down. Fredericton has some of the best water in Canada, all right? Get your water in and just see what happens, but get a habit of it. And in my experience, working with a lot of people, what I find works best is a 1 liter bottle of water. And you can go and you can buy a 1 liter bottle of water and refill it. You don't have to go out and buy an expensive water bottle that's cumbersome to carry around. Go get a 1 liter water bottle, empty it, then fill it, and cycle through it once or twice a week. So you're spending however much money that is to buy that water bottle, and then you can use that for the entire week, right? You're emptying and filling it. Just don't let it sit full of water overnight. Fill it every morning, empty it every evening, because the water can permeate, right? And the plastics and things like that. That's why, like, the change in temperature, the oxygen getting inside the cylinder can cause leaching. So by keeping that empty, and you're letting a lot of the bacteria die and things like that, and then have it ready for the next morning. I use the same water bottle all week, and it saved me a ton of money, and it saved a ton of environmental impact by buying a 1 liter water bottle and continuing to use that. All right? Anyway, so I hope this helps. We're heading into a long weekend. Stay well hydrated. It'll help to regulate your appetite. Stay within your macros, all right? Even though you're eating the treat foods, which I hope everybody does. Have a great Easter. Sit down, be with family. The traveling is going to be decent. It's not like Christmas where the storms and things like that can come and go. Looks like it's going to be a really good Easter. Enjoy family, enjoy friends. Have a great long weekend, and drink your water and document your macros, all right? You can fit a lot into there. I promise you. I am. Thanks.